Oh, hello. I am the awful chef. I want to eat, so I'd better cook something. Today we're making something very, very simple. It's basically a Mediterranean risotto or a Caribbean risotto with kidney beans, rice, coconut milk. We got some garlic, some thyme, some green onions, and a Habanero-Based hot sauce. Ooh, I like this one. So, beans and rice, and beans and rice, and beans and rice, and beans and rice. It's kind of a joke around here. When I was a child growing up, you know, we'd see people driving expensive cars or things like that, and I'd look at my mother and say, why can't we have one of those? And she would tell me that the people driving them were eating beans and rice in order to be able to afford them. Well, this is one of those example dishes where beans and rice is so good, we should add a better car. Okay, welcome back to my insanely cramped YouTube galley. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna set this. Oh, there we go. And let's turn on some heat. As you stare at my back. So, a little bit of olive oil. Yeah, the first time I made this dish, I had about a cup and a half of leftover rice, can of beans, some coconut milk, and a few other things. And I just threw it all together and it worked. Today we're going to do it sort of right. So, for those of you who follow French techniques, prepare to be aghast. So, beans. Can of red kidney beans, drained but not rinsed. Okay, we are definitely going to need to do a little extra to get some of that starch out of there. So a little bit of chicken stock. Sorry I will not be joining you today, if you're following along at home. Okay. Ta-da! Beans in a pan. Oh, isn't this the most exciting recipe ever? You'll be impressed. So technically you're supposed to cook the beans in coconut milk. But, you know, we're using canned beans. Ooh, that is not the most delightful thing on earth. Looking. I have added half a can of the coconut milk. And I'm going to be adjusting the camera, obviously. You can see that it's not the most exciting thing on earth yet. Now, the joy of being in California, we have store-brand coconut milk. So, let's melt down the fat cap that was on top of the beans. That's what you saw mainly. Or pardon me, on top of the coconut milk. We're going to end up using the entire can, I suspect. But what I'm doing right now is basically mimicking cooking the beans in coconut milk. If you have all day, I encourage you to try it the old-fashioned way. I, unfortunately, do not. Okay, there we are. Again, not exactly the most appetizing thing. Beans in a pink milky sauce. Alright, let's do the awful. Thyme. Yeah, I'm throwing the complete thyme sprig in there. I want the flavor from the wood itself. Garlic. This time we mashed it. We did use a garlic press. It's in here with salt and a little olive oil in the classic French technique. But it's not being cooked separately. It's being added as a flavoring to the broth. I do occasionally joke that there's a difference between garlic and insecticide. And this is how you make a very strong garlic flavor. So 2 green onions. Oh, there's a smell coming out of this. And one can add meat to this. A good cut up store-bought rotisserie chicken. Pieces of which would go very nicely in this. Okay. A little bit of habanero-based hot sauce. Yes, you can use a straight habanero if you're brave enough. This, I have a little more control over. Okay. This is actually starting to look appetizing. And the smell coming out of there is quite powerful. Okay, rice. What's my rice gripe? Do not soak your rice. Get a strainer, run the rice under running water, rinse the starch off that way. Use less water, but most importantly, you control the moisture content of the rice itself. That way, you cook it according to the directions. I know. It sounds really nitpicky, but if you soak your rice, there will be leftover water and your rice will come out terrible. Rice. Okay. And here we have the beginning of what amounts to a Caribbean-style coconut rice risotto. Or should I say coconut risotto? I'm just using plain ordinary long grain rice. Pick it up for $1 a pound or whatever. Not even bothering with arborio. This is basic food. So, now, that is going to take a few minutes to cook. I can bore you with my witty repartee, of which I have none. Unless you want to see my Wolfgang Puck imitation again. So we're going to end it here. I'm just going to slowly cook this, adding coconut milk and fat as required to make sure the rice cooks properly. I will adjust the flavor hotter if required. And of course, if I run out of coconut milk, I can always use stock in a box to make sure the rice has the proper texture. Yeah, plate of food. It's that simple. You can see the pan is covered. We are slowly cooking some rice. So I'm the Awful Chef. Please subscribe. And to those of you who already have, thank you. I will endeavor to make it worth the effort. We're having fun. This is really how I eat. So thank you. Bye.